Yeah, thanks, Paul. Thanks, guys, for being here, especially you guys that came down from Chicago. So I appreciate it. Great team win. Didn't start the way we wanted to, obviously, and you need to credit Purdue for that. We knew we were going to get a fast start from them, and obviously we, turned the ball over on a fourth down situation, and then not pick them up defensively was a little disappointing to start. But I thought we responded well. Pretty good balance offensively. 253 rushing and 350 passing was great from a balance standpoint. And I thought we made some really big plays, especially as the game went along. I thought our response in the second half was what we needed to put the game away. You can see the scheme that we put up for our defensive adjustments there. It says tackle, better effort, better swarm, play faster, and communicate. There's not one change that we made, and that was the decision made by the players of what we needed to do better defensively. So, again, I think it's one of those situations where outside of maybe the last drive, that we had a lot of our young guys out there. I thought we played relatively clean in all three phases, and great way to pick up a team win. I'd be remiss without, mentioning, Tom Ruby. This obviously was the first game that he was healthy to play in, and my hope was it would go down this way, and he'd get an opportunity to get on the field and, not trying to do anything negative towards Purdue, but really trying to do something for an American hero. And, Tom Ruby is truly what our country's all about. A gentleman that gave everything for our country as a SEAL, and the dedication and the sacrifice that he obviously and his teammates, the men and women out there defending our freedom, is what makes playing our game so special, as we get to do it because of individuals like Tom. So I just want to thank him. I want to thank his family for all that they've done and all that they continue to do, and hopefully we lift him up with the way that we support him and his family. So with that, how about some questions, please?
Coach, knowing Purdue struggles in the second half, did you come out of halftime feeling confident that you would be able to get the ball rolling?
We talked about the first series being really important, and obviously I think we came out the first three. I don't know, don't quote me, but definitely the first two with touchdown drives. We thought that was going to be really important. Obviously the depth is an issue, at Purdue, especially when you see a couple of their defensive starters out today. We saw them in street clothes pregame, and you just feel for those guys. It's especially someone I've been in this locker room with some big wins in my career, and not to see them full with other guys is really disappointing for those individuals first, and secondly, I've been really impressed with what Jared and the coaching staff have done. I mean, I know the record hasn't shown it, but this is a heck of a coaching staff to be able to keep these young men together. Watching the tape getting ready for this game was very, very impressive. And I think we were fortunate to be able to create the turnovers. That was really important in the game today. But David has played really well throughout his entire season and throughout his career. And I think the future is bright not only for him but also for Purdue football. So happy to get a win and happy to be moving on pretty much relatively injury-free.
You guys were some serious ball hawks out there. You got a bunch of interceptions. Just good individual play there, or is that something you guys stressing?
Well, we've been stressing it hard, Teddy. We haven't done a very good job taking the ball away the last two games, especially against Wisconsin. And to me, you got to credit the Badgers. I mean, they play really, really clean football, and we needed to make things happen, and we didn't do that. From there, what I saw today is we really felt like with the amount of passing that we were going to see, that getting tips, getting picks was going to be really, really important. And, obviously we were able to get that. And I think we dropped a couple other ones too. We maybe could have had 6. That's what I saw.
So on the other side of the ball, Carr and Thorson both huge days again, and kind of climbing to the top of the single season record books. Is that something you at all expected coming into this year?
Can you say that one more time? I missed the first
They're
start.
coming really close.
Who's that? I'm sorry.
Records, Carr and Thorson.
Well, we saw signs in spring ball and camp, the maturity of Clayton, just year 2 in a system, much more confident in what we're doing and how we're trying to do it. And, I think you saw that again today. I thought Mick called a really good game. I mean, I thought there were some areas there that, plays that we had that we just didn't really execute.
Coach, that first drive of the second half was really important. You were able to establish the run early with both Justin and John. What did you see out of John, and then how important was it to really just get going on the ground and establish that really early in the second half?
Yeah, well, we didn't run the ball the length of our nose a week ago, right? And that was pretty indicative of the way that we were offensively. We couldn't get any balance. We had to throw the ball 50 couple times. We dropped more balls than we had all year. So, we go as kind of our offensive line goes, and that's what I challenged them with on Thursday. And I'll continue to stress that. This is Big Ten football. You got to win the game up front. And, we got pretty well handled against Wisconsin. And I thought that group really responded well today. And now we're on to another challenge, next week with Minnesota. My advanced scout, they've got an outstanding front seven, and they're playing really well. And, so we'll have our hands full. But we're going to enjoy tonight. And, just, again, a great team win. Anytime you go on the road and win a game, it's important. And put 45 points up and, really could have had some other drives. We took the foot off the pedal, I think that was a pretty darn good outpouring by our offense today.
So I believe Carr is now tied with Dwayne Bates' single-season touchdown catches. So for people who haven't seen Dwayne Bates, that's pretty good for them to be in the same.
Yeah, it's pretty rare air. Yeah, it's arguably one of the best that's ever put on the purple and white in Dwayne. And, we've had, AC, you go back to Zeke Markshausen, went into his senior year with one catch and then has, 100 and something or 99 in his senior year. What I've learned a long time ago in our program is we're obviously, we take pride in being a great developmental program in everything that we do. And that includes every year, and some guys just blossom a little bit later than others. And I think Austin is a great indication to all players, not only in football, but just anybody, that if you just keep working hard and have a great attitude, good things can happen for you. And his attitude for his entire career has been spectacular, and his work ethic obviously is second to none. So it's absolutely great to see him have that type of success, but he couldn't do it alone. He does it with great quarterback play, and when our offensive line gives Clayton a chance, we're humming pretty good.
Coach, obviously Purdue and Wisconsin are two very different defenses, but do you think the offense played better this week? And how important is it for the offense to have a game like this?
Yeah, well, again, I think our offensive line played better. I really do. I think our offensive line got handled pretty well against Wisconsin. And I thought we played fairly decent against Ohio State's defensive front. We didn't have a very good day a week ago, and it really hurt us. I think if you look over the last, 6 weeks or so, I think we've played better up front. I think we've improved. But we took a step back last week, and so hopefully we can gain some momentum here for the next 2 weeks and see that group play a little bit better.
Is it possible Ruby gets another chance when all is said and done?
Say that again?
Is it possible Ruby gets another chance this season
As far as?
to carry the ball?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah! I'd be doing cartwheels. Close the door, please, will you? Tell him to be quiet. Tell him to be quiet. That'd be great. I appreciate it. Thank you. Stacey will be happy I didn't say shut up, so that's good for the kids.
Coach, right after that Anthony Walker pick, you guys came out and scored on the very next play. And I know that it's important to, quick changes, momentum swing plays you talk about, going from defense to offense, quick switches. How important was that to capitalize immediately?
I think it was really important. Again, all year we had not been great creating turnovers and then scoring touchdowns. Our points off of turnovers was very low, and I think today was one of our highest outputs of the year. So that was critically important.
Did
We shouldn't have sent Kyle in.
you guys talk to Thorson much at the half? I feel like in the first half he made some poor decisions. Did you think so? Did anybody talk to him?
I think he just sailed the ball a little bit.
Okay.
The one pick in the red zone,
Yeah.
that was on us. We shouldn't have called that play. And we shouldn't have called that play. That was a bad call by us.
Trying to get bowl eligible. Just overall, and you've touched on this a little bit already, just seeing the team being focused and taking care of business and with the overall goal of becoming bowl eligible, are you happy?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we've got to find a way to get ourselves into the postseason. We obviously, and we had a chance to talk before, but if you would have watched us early in the year, we weren't a very good football team. We had to make some changes, and I think the guys have responded. The credit goes to our seniors. Our seniors and our leadership council and our captains have done a really good job, I think, of helping these younger players, and you see a lot of them playing, help them grow up. And we've had to go through that. It's not been easy. It's been a grind, but the guys, I think, have responded well, and now we've got to find a way to go 1-0 again. And, like I said, we're going to enjoy this, and then we're going to get ready for a team that's still in the hunt for the Big Ten West up on the road, and that's going to be a huge challenge. So, our focus all year has been on us. It's been through my 11 years. That's what we do. And obviously we didn't do a very good job early in the year collectively as a team, but I think we've responded pretty well. And, yeah, absolutely, getting in the postseason is a great motivator. You get to you get to the postseason, you get to send your seniors out the right way. You get a chance for your entire university to come together and go to somewhere that obviously is incredibly welcoming. And I've been a part of a bunch of bowl games, and I think it's what makes playing and coaching college football so special. And then I think obviously then to have the opportunity to have these seniors have a winning legacy. You know, I think that's, especially after our start, I think would be a great testament to them.
Just curious, did you think at all about Trevor Simeon today the last time we were here?
As far as?
This where he blew out his knee.
Not until right now when you brought it up. Yeah, I try to stay focused on the positive, but Trevor wouldn't be where he's at today if he didn't blow his knee out.
Yep.
Right? I mean, when you think about everything happens for a reason, that happened for a reason, and you know, it gave him an opportunity, I think, to maybe, you guys might think I'm crazy, but maybe even fall a little bit. He ends up having a couple good weeks. Maybe he gets a little bit more mainstream pub, and maybe he isn't in the situation that he's at. So, you know, I just believe everything happens for a reason, and you know, this was a tough bus ride home now. Last time we were here, that was tough, but he's responded.
You talk about having competitive depth everywhere,
Yeah.
and Johnny Mo today,
Yeah.
119 yards, and even after Warren going down, you see Johnny Mo stepping up. What have you seen from him? Have you seen any growth since Warren got hurt, and how important?
Yeah, a lot of growth. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, John, I'm really proud of his growth. I mean, first of all, with the ball in his hand, he's pretty good. He's been that way all year. It's the non-ball in your hand thing called being a running back, that the same maturation that Justin had to go through. Justin went through it as a true freshman. You know, Johnny's going through it now as a redshirt freshman. And again, everything happens for a reason. Warren being out gives John this opportunity, these types of reps that he probably would not have gotten if Warren was still healthy. So, yeah, absolutely. You know, I think he's got a lot more confidence in the position outside of carrying the ball. I think it shows. I think he'd like to maybe have a couple of runs back where he got just shoestring tackled, but he's going to continue to get better and better, and that depth there has been really important, especially with, you know, I think JJ, you know, be the first guy to get up here and tell you he hasn't been 100% healthy for a couple of weeks, and he's getting back to pretty darn close to that. But being able to get him limited touches today, you know, we purposely came in with trying to get Johnny more touches, and then the way the game went, I don't think Justin was on the field in the fourth quarter. You know, that was really important here for the stretch run, so that was great to see.
Coach, Montre gave up a couple catches early, but then responded. A couple of breakups, two picks. What did you see out of him individually in a tough matchup against Yancey?
Well, Yancey's a heck of a player. You know, we kind of felt like if we kept the ball inside and in front, we were going to be okay defensively. And, you know, then we give up the Dover route when, you know, it's like, are you kidding me? I mean, I don't know if you guys could hear from the press box, but everybody in the boundary is yelling, Dover, you know, which is deep over route. Dover, Dover, Dover. And then we give up a touchdown, and I almost broke my 6th headphone of the year. But that's who we are. We do fun things to keep things entertaining, and good for them. But no, going back to your question, yeah, Montre, I mean, again, a guy thrust into action here, young player thrust into action, not in a position that you're going to have great players you go against each week. And, you know, to see the way that he and Trey, and then, you know, Marcus, even, you know, when he's been in there, I think those 3 guys have really stepped up. And again, these next 2 weeks are going to be critically important if they finish the job to get us into the postseason.
Coach, this is the 3rd straight road game where you guys have gone down double digits early on.
Yeah.
14 in Michigan State, and the last 2 games 10.
Yeah.
And in all those games, obviously Michigan State come back, scored 54, 45 today.
Yeah.
And then Ohio State close till the very end.
Yeah.
Sort of, how would you sort of explain what the slow starts and then the changes you've been able to make to get back in the game?
I just think we feel better playing from behind, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's not what we stress. It's not, we talk about the other thing. Obviously, we're not emphasizing it enough as coaches. So it'll be something that we'll talk about. I mean, it's something that we continually talk about starting fast. We've even talked about some of the play calling on today. You know, I was going to be really aggressive early to make sure that we weren't sleepy. And a lot of those calls are my calls in the game, especially the 4th down calls. Those are all on me, and that was, you know, a lot of the thought process behind some of those situations where we're trying to be aggressive and not show any way, shape, or form that we were going to overlook this opponent. So obviously when it works, it's great. When it doesn't, it's obviously my responsibility. So we'll look at what we called, what we did, how we did it. But we can't do that in Minneapolis. We do that, we're going to get blown out. So, you know, hopefully we'll live and learn. Anything you want to piggyback off that? No? Okay, that's good. Anything else, guys? Anything? All right, guys, appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Go Cats. Thank you.
Did you know 1,000 yards was in reach today, and that you could be the first guy to do 3 times 1,000?
I knew the first part, didn't know the second part. I really just wanted to get a win because, past few weeks came up short, and losing is not fun. So we definitely need this game. Need to get back on track. AC said it, I think, it's a three-game playoff for us. So, this is the first step. I think we responded well. It didn't come out the way we wanted to. They jumped on us early, but it was important to respond and get that win.
I know you're more about the team stuff, but are you going to give yourself an opportunity to go 4 times 1,000?
I'm going to try. I mean, Johnny Moe came in. You never know. So, no. Yeah, man, I'm just going out there and playing. Trying to be out there for every game, be consistent, and be there for my teammates. And be there for my coaches. Be reliable, giving the ball to me. So.
What do you think was key for you guys in the second half? You dominated.
We just made plays. I think we had a lot of great calls. That one play that Garrett scored on was a great call. They were in Tampa too, and play fake, got the mic to come down, and then Garrett just went right over the top. So, we didn't get complacent like I think we did against Indiana when we were up. We just kept playing, kept going, and we really want to have fun and kind of have a statement game against a great team. Purdue, they've been up halftime past 3 games, and they've been playing every team. I think Nebraska and Penn State and another team real close. So we wanted to come out here and make a statement for ourselves, and I think we did that.
Justin, Coach talked about the growth of John Moten,
Yeah.
Especially after Warren went down. How have you helped him, and how have you seen him grow?
Really just I try to help him mentally, just on reads and stuff because everything's a lot faster in the games. So just kind of, Coach always harps on where your eyes, what are you looking at every play. He's always says, I can't tell you exactly where, you're going to run the ball. Things are going 100 miles per hour, but I can tell you where your keys are, where to get your eyes. So I just try to help him with that. And, just be quicker on reads and try and just go out there and play. I think spring ball and last year he was just real timid, real unsure of himself. And if he goes out there and plays hard and not thinking, you guys, see what he can do. So just trying to help him with that kind of stuff.
Really hard for you guys moving the ball last week. What was the biggest difference aside from the fact that you didn't play Wisconsin this week?
Yeah, I mean, we knew what they were going to do. At least we thought we did. We thought they were going to pressure a lot more than they did. They didn't. So it was really about just adjusting to that. And, they dropped 7 a lot, zone a lot. We thought they were going to be more man. So just adjusting to that and just going there and playing hard and making the plays. I think especially one drive, I think we were up only 4 or 7. We made a few third-down conversions that were big, and that's the type of stuff we weren't doing last week. So just making plays, making conversions, and going out there and playing hard. And I think we had a lot more fun today as a whole team, so that was pretty important.
How are you feeling? Fitz said you guys been quite 100% last couple weeks. How are you feeling? Was it nice to get some reps off near the end?
Yeah, everyone's banged up at this point in the season, some more than others, but I just tried to stay in the training room. Last week I didn't do too much, so I was pretty good coming in today. And like you said, I didn't get that many reps today either, so it's pretty cool having another guy come in there and take some reps off and do well. And that's what we harp on the running back room is the next guy up. So I think John came in and did a great job. So from here on out, I think I'm just gonna keep playing. Whenever they tell me to come out, I'll come out, and I think I have a lot of confidence. And they have a lot of confidence in John to go in there and get it done.
Did they give you the latitude to say how much you practice?
Practice. Talking about practice now. Yeah, I mean, I think a few weeks ago I was pretty banged up, so I didn't practice a lot that week. But if I'm feeling good, I'm gonna go in there, and I like practicing, kind of getting a feel, where my eyes need to be for certain defenses, pressures and stuff like that. So I really think I need to practice to do well in the game. So I try and. If I'm healthy enough to practice, I do. I think they're pretty good with that, whether it's me being out there and taking half reps or whatever. But, yeah, our training staff and our coaching staff work well with me to make sure I'm ready for Saturday.
On the subject of fun, where does the third quarter today rank among quarterbacks?
I know, right? It was weird because, we were sitting on the bench and they got interception, I think, or some next play we scored, Garrett scored, and we were right back on the bench. I was like, I feel like we were just here. But it's pretty cool to go out there and be successful offensively, because we know what we can do. And it just comes down to us going out there and executing consistently. I think we did that today for the first time in a while. So that was like I said, it's fun to win. It's fun to go out there and produce and not put everything on our defense. So it was a great team win today.
First drive coming out of the halftime break,
Yeah.
you guys just kind of put the foot to the pedal,
Yeah.
And really established the run. How important was that, and were there any sort of adjustments made during halftime that would let the run be more successful in the second half?
Yeah, I think we liked a lot of our run game in the first half. We went back to some base stuff too. But I think it just came down to, like I said, executing. I think O-line did a real good job just, straining the finish blocks, and that's really what it comes down to. And we were able to find some creases and get some first downs, get some yardage, myself and John. So, really the credit goes to them. They did a great job today. And I have all the confidence in the world in them. It just comes down to if they have that confidence in themselves, and today they did. And I'm hoping that today can be a marker for them that, they can do it. And we go, as Coach Fitz said, we go as our O-line goes. So, they played real well today, and obviously we had over 600 yards. So.
Do you know much about Dwayne Bates?
Really good player in the past here.
Yes. Well, you scored, you're up to 12 touchdown passes, which ties the single season record. Passes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Passes. That's cool.
If they let
He
you
was,
play,
yeah,
you
he was
would.
slanging it.
So you just know a little bit because he was really one of the great ones.
Yeah, he was. I'd love to meet him sometime and just shake his hand because I know he was a stud here. All Northwestern kind of guy, so it's an honor.
So Clayton, career high in yards for you today. Second time this season you've done that. What went well?
I think our receivers were getting open, but O-line was playing real well. So I had a lot of time back there. I think there's only one or two times where I was rushed to even make a throw. So I think credit to them.
Clayton, JJ said that you expected them to play more man, but they ended up playing more zone. How did you adjust to that during your game?
I think we made a great on-the-fly adjustment. Receivers as well. Yeah, I think that was huge. It was a big adjustment by us. That's what we expected.
What at the touchdown to Dickerson, there was nobody there. Without getting too technical, why do you think that worked so well that play?
Yeah, I think some of the linebackers came down with the play action, and safeties were wide, so it was wide open, as you said.
Does it even work that well in practice? Does it ever?
No.
It doesn't.
Let's say Purdue has struggled in the second half. Did you guys go into the second half believing that you would be able to exploit some things?
Mm-hmm. Every time that we come out of the half receiving the ball, we're just licking our chops to just get back on the board, get on the field, get a good drive together, and that's what Coach McCall and the offensive coaches put together. They put together a sequence that, I don't even know how many third downs we had on that drive. We were just clicking on all four cylinders.
There was the interception in the first half where you were looking to Austin. Fitz said it was their fault on the play call. Do you remember that one? Were you just eyeing him too much? What was that for him?
Yeah, the one near the goal line?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there were a few different things we could have done differently. But it was picking the red zone, so.
Is it hard not to be always thinking about AC when you get near the goal line?
I think, like you saw with all these stats here, a lot of guys caught a lot of balls. But it's hard not to look at a guy who's about to break a record. So.
Clayton, can you describe the difference between the fourth quarter last week, sort of furious to trying to rally back and score, versus this week where you were on the sideline watching and run the clock?
Yeah, it's completely different. It's nice to see some guys get in there and play. Tom Ruby, trying to get him a touchdown. He's from pretty close to here. But saw a lot of guys playing defense who don't usually play defense. So it's fun to watch those guys.
Clayton, Johnny Moe was a big second half. I know that he was a guy that probably coming into this year was going to be like your third back, then with Warren out, become your second back. And then today got a lot of reps. How has your confidence grown in him, and how have you seen him grow?
Yeah, it's grown a lot. I think last year when he was a true freshman, obviously he didn't get the reps, running our offense that he did. And then in the fall and spring, obviously Warren was getting a lot of reps with Justin. So John's done a real good job, I think, really coming along this season, and everyone's encouraged by that. Justin, he's one of the best backs in the country, but, we can't have him taking 85 snaps a game. So that's huge for us.
What kind of a motivator is a bowl game?
Huge motivator, I'd say. We view these last three games going into this week as a three-game playoff, and focusing on our first game, Purdue, It was just about going 1-0, like we always say. And so we've got 1 down, 2 to go, and we want to win out. We want to get a quality bowl game, and great competitor in Minnesota next week. At their place, it's always hard to win in Minnesota. Hopefully it won't be too cold, but we're looking forward now. It's a 2-game playoff, and we just got to be clicking again.
Anything else for AC or Clayton?
Clayton, another big game for Andrew Scanlon. What did he bring on the outside to the offense today?
You know, whenever he touches the ball, he wants to get yards, and he's fighting. And I think that goes back to, you guys know his story, but he's come back this year, and he wasn't sure what his role was going to be, but he kept fighting for it. And you see that on the field too. He fights for every yard, and he gets some good yards, and he's playing real well right now. So we got to keep getting him the ball.
Guys, a lot of interceptions in front of us. And picking stuff by taking us through years.
Just playing the coverage that Coach Hank called. Drop back to my position, and good things happen when you're in position. So just good defense, good play call, and execution. That's it.
Did you even have time to think? Don't drop it. I mean, what were you thinking?
Catch the ball, get upfield, get as many yards as possible, and set the offense up in great field position.
Yeah, for me, the first one was a slant route from number 7. Watching film, he's a pretty aggressive guy, so whenever he stuck me outside and try to be physical, trying to get back inside, I kind of knew it was a slant, so jumped the route, made a great play on it. Second one, the guy at number 7 again, he ran a comeback route, and I was just blessed to catch that second one for sure. So yeah.
Andre, were you figuring to play a huge role in this team this season?
Initially, coming in, I did. Got the opportunity to do that, so I'm blessed.
So this doesn't surprise you to be in the mix as much?
I mean, honestly, this is all I wanted growing up, coming in the season, so just got to take advantage. That's what I'm trying to do.
For both of you guys, last 2 weeks before this, no turnovers, then today 4 turnovers. I know a lot of them, the ball just has to be in your hands, but is that just something where you guys executed better, fit things better, or what did you see?
Definitely the defense, playing together is one. If everybody get back to their position, opportunities will come. And, you get tired of Coach Fitz yelling at you in practice, about getting turnovers and all that stuff. So, just try to make plays when we have the opportunity. That's about it. And still got to get better at getting strips and all that, punches on the ball. But for the most part, we'll take the interceptions.
I also think, I guess we had a little fun today.
Yeah, definitely.
Played with more energy than last week, and that was pretty much the outcome.
Talking about fun, Anthony, after that Trent Jones pick, I saw you pull out some sort of pitch. I don't know what that was, but what did you see on that play, and then your reaction? Obviously, you guys unlocked him.
Yeah, so that was the second string quarterback, I guess, they put in, and he saw, I think that was Nate Hall coming off the edge from the field, who was right there behind you acting a fool. But, he saw Nate Hall coming off the edge and he didn't see Trent Goins dropping back into the flat. Threw it right to him, and I was more so surprised that he caught it all hands and, was able to get upfield. Yeah. And just excited for my teammates. That's about it. Just, trying to bring that energy.
Montre, a couple early catches for Yancey, number 7.
Yeah.
Did you make any adjustments as the game went on in your coverage of him?
Yeah, initially I was trying to bail, trying to get a feel for him at the beginning. I got a couple catches on me early, so I decided to hang in there a little bit longer. Made a play, and kept going from then on.